Exclusive. Senne Lammens' first training session date revealed. New era begins at Carrington. Welcome to United News, the only source you can trust when it comes to Manchester United. For years, we have been bringing you the exclusive stories, the insider information, and the breaking news that matters most to every Red Devils supporter. When other outlets are still guessing, when rumors are flying everywhere, when you need to know what is really happening at Old Trafford and Carrington, this is where you come for the facts. Today we have an exclusive revelation that will give you the inside track on Manchester United's newest signing and what the coming days hold for the club. The exclusive scoop that nobody else has. What if we told you that we know exactly when Manchester United's newest goalkeeper will take his first steps onto the Carrington training ground? What if we could give you the exclusive details about when Senne Lammens will join his new teammates for the first time? This is the kind of insider information that separates United News from every other Manchester United source. While others are still writing about transfer announcements that happened days ago, we are already looking ahead and telling you what comes next. We can exclusively reveal that Manchester United's first team squad is scheduled to return to training at Carrington next Wednesday. And yes, that means Senne Lammens will be taking part in his very first training session with his new teammates. This is not just another training session. This is the moment when Lammens begins his journey as a Manchester United player. This is when Ruben Amorim gets his first proper look at the goalkeeper he hopes will solve United's long-standing problems between the posts. But there is so much more to this story than just a training date. The timing, the circumstances, and what happens in these sessions could shape the entire future of Manchester United's goalkeeping situation. Why this training session matters more than most. You might wonder why we are making such a big deal about one training session. After all, new players join clubs and start training all the time. What makes this particular session so important for Manchester United and Senne Lammens? The answer lies in the timing and the context. Manchester United are preparing for one of the biggest matches of their season so far. The Manchester Derby is coming up fast, and it will be the first game after the international break. This means that Lammens is not just joining routine training sessions where he can slowly get used to his new surroundings. He is walking into a high-pressure environment where every session is focused on preparing for one of the most important matches in English football. The Manchester Derby is always huge, but this one feels even more significant. Both clubs have had mixed starts to the season, and both managers will be desperate to get a result that can kickstart their campaigns. For Lammens, this creates both an opportunity and a challenge. On one hand, joining the squad during such an important week means he will immediately see how Manchester United prepare for their biggest games. On the other hand, the pressure and intensity might be overwhelming for someone who has never experienced this level before. Ruben Amorim and his coaching staff will be watching Lammens very carefully during these sessions. They will want to see how he handles the pressure, how quickly he adapts to their methods, and whether he shows the qualities they believe he possesses. The £21.5 million investment under scrutiny. When Manchester United decided to spend £21.5 million on Senne Lammens, they were making a statement about their intentions. This was not a cheap backup signing or a player for the future. This was a significant investment in someone they believe can make an immediate impact. The transfer fee breaks down to £18 million upfront with £3.5 million in add-ons. Importantly, there is no sell-on clause, which means United will keep all the money if they ever decide to sell Lammens in the future. But money only tells part of the story. The real investment here is in Lammens' potential and the belief that he can succeed where others have failed. Andre Onana cost United a significant fee and has not worked out as hoped. Altay Bayındır was brought in as a reliable backup but has also disappointed when given chances. Now all eyes are on Lammens to justify United's faith and their financial outlay. His first training session will be the beginning of this evaluation process. How does he handle the pressure? How does he interact with his new teammates? How quickly does he pick up the coaching staff's instructions? These might seem like small details, but they can be crucial indicators of whether a player will succeed at a club like Manchester United. The step up from Royal Antwerp to Old Trafford is enormous, and not every player can make that adjustment successfully. The goalkeeping battle that starts immediately. One of the most fascinating aspects of Lammens joining training is that he will immediately be thrown into competition with the other goalkeepers on United's books. This is not a situation where he can ease into things gradually. Andre Onana knows that his position is under serious threat. His performances have been inconsistent at best, and the signing of Lammens sends a clear message that United are looking for alternatives. How will he react to this new competition? Altay Bayındır has also struggled to make a positive impression when given opportunities. His error against Arsenal earlier this season was a reminder that United cannot rely on him as a safe pair of hands. Now he faces the prospect of falling even further down the pecking order. Tom Heaton provides experience and professionalism, but at his age, he is not seen as a long-term solution. His role is more likely to be as a mentor and backup option rather than a serious contender for the number 1 spot. This means that the real battle is between Lammens and Onana, with the winner likely to become Ruben Amorim's first-choice goalkeeper. This competition will begin from the very first training session, and both players will know what is at stake. The coaching staff will be watching everything. How do the goalkeepers respond to different drills? How do they handle crosses and shots? How do they communicate with the defenders in front of them? These training sessions will provide crucial information about who deserves to start in goal. The international break timing and its impact. The timing of Lammens' first training session is particularly interesting because it comes right after an international break. This creates both advantages and challenges for his integration into the squad. The advantage is that many of United's key players have been away with their national teams, which means everyone is coming back together at the same time. Lammens will not be the only one trying to find his rhythm and get back into the groove of club football. This shared experience of returning from international duty could help Lammens blend in more easily with his new teammates. Everyone will be focused on getting back up to speed and preparing for the Manchester Derby. However, the international break also means that time is limited. There are only a few training sessions between the players returning and the big match against Manchester City. This puts extra pressure on Lammens to make a good impression quickly. Ruben Amorim will have to balance several priorities during these training sessions. He needs to get his team ready for one of the biggest matches of the season, integrate new players like Lammens, and assess the fitness and form of players returning from international duty. This juggling act means that Lammens might not get as much individual attention as he would during a normal week. He will need to be adaptable and show that he can pick things up quickly without needing extensive one-on-one coaching. The injury situation that could create opportunities. One factor that could significantly impact Lammens' early weeks at Manchester United is the injury situation affecting several key players. The status of players like Matheus Cunha and Mason Mount remains uncertain, which could affect team dynamics and preparation. According to our exclusive sources, Cunha has been doing light upper body work in the gym, but there has been no significant update on his condition since then. The extent and type of his injury are still unknown, which creates uncertainty about his availability for the Manchester Derby. Mason Mount's situation is also being closely monitored. The next few days will be crucial in determining whether either player can participate in full group training sessions. Lisandro Martinez presents another interesting case. The Argentine defender has been training on grass by himself for the past month, but he is not expected to join group training immediately. However, his return is not seen as being far away. These injury concerns could actually create opportunities for Lammens to make a bigger impression. If key players are missing from training, it might give the new goalkeeper more time to work with the coaching staff and show what he can do. It also means that the team's preparation for the Manchester Derby might be disrupted, which could level the playing field for someone like Lammens who is learning the system for the first time. What Lammens can expect in his first session. So what exactly will Senne Lammens experience when he walks onto the Carrington training ground for the first time? What can he expect from his new teammates, coaches, and the environment he is entering? First and foremost, he will encounter a level of intensity and professionalism that he has probably never experienced before. Manchester United's training sessions are conducted at the highest level, with every drill and exercise designed to prepare players for the demands of competing at the top of English and European football. The coaching staff will likely put Lammens through a series of specific goalkeeper drills to assess his shot-stopping ability, distribution, and command of his penalty area. They will want to see how he handles different types of shots and crosses, and how he communicates with defenders. There will also be broader team exercises where Lammens can show how well he fits into United's playing style. Ruben Amorim's system requires goalkeepers to be comfortable with the ball at their feet and capable of starting attacks from the back. The other players will be curious about their new teammate. They will want to see what he brings to the squad and whether he can provide the reliability that has been missing from the goalkeeping position. For Lammens, this will be about making a good first impression without trying too hard to impress. The key is to show his natural ability while adapting to the higher tempo and intensity of training at Manchester United. The pressure of following in famous footsteps. When Senne Lammens puts on the Manchester United training kit for the first time, he will be following in the footsteps of some of the greatest goalkeepers in football history. The pressure of living up to this legacy cannot be underestimated. Manchester United have had legendary goalkeepers like Peter Schmeichel, Edwin van der Sar, and David De Gea. Each of these players set incredibly high standards and became heroes to United fans around the world. More recently, the club has struggled to find someone who can match these standards. Andre Onana was supposed to be the solution, but his inconsistent performances have left fans longing for the reliability of previous eras. This history creates both inspiration and pressure for Lammens. On one hand, he has the opportunity to join an elite group of goalkeepers who have succeeded at Old Trafford. On the other hand, the comparisons and expectations will be constant and intense. The coaching staff will need to help Lammens understand this context while protecting him from becoming overwhelmed by the weight of history. Finding the right balance between acknowledging the club's goalkeeping heritage and allowing him to develop his own identity will be crucial. United fans will be watching his progress closely from the very beginning. They are desperate for a goalkeeper they can trust and rely on, and they will be hoping that Lammens can provide the solution they have been waiting for. How training performance translates to match success. One of the biggest questions surrounding Senne Lammens is how his impressive statistics from Belgium will translate to the Premier League. Training sessions provide the first opportunity to get some answers to this question. In Belgium, Lammens recorded a save percentage of 77.4% and conceded 18 fewer goals than expected based on the quality of chances he faced. These numbers suggest exceptional shot-stopping ability and positioning. However, the Premier League presents different challenges. The pace is faster, the shots are more powerful, and the physical challenges are more intense. Training sessions will give the coaching staff their first indication of how well Lammens can adapt to these demands. The psychological aspect is equally important. Can Lammens maintain his confidence and decision-making under the pressure of playing for Manchester United? Training sessions, while important, cannot fully replicate the pressure of playing at Old Trafford in front of 75,000 fans. But they can provide valuable insights into his mentality and approach. How does he respond to making mistakes in training? How does he handle criticism or coaching feedback? How does he interact with teammates when things do not go perfectly? These behavioral indicators can be just as important as his technical ability when it comes to predicting whether he will succeed at Manchester United. The derby preparation factor. The fact that Lammens' first training sessions will be focused on preparing for the Manchester Derby adds an extra layer of significance to his early days at the club. This is not just about getting to know his new teammates and learning the system. The Manchester Derby is one of the most intense and high-profile matches in English football. The preparation for such a game requires total focus and commitment from every player, including those who might not even be selected for the matchday squad. For Lammens, being involved in derby preparation from his first day sends a clear message about United's ambitions for him. They are not treating him as a long-term development project who needs months to settle in. The intensity of derby preparation could actually help Lammens' integration. When everyone is focused on the same goal and working toward the same objective, it creates a sense of unity that can help new players feel part of the team more quickly. However, it also means that there will be little time for hand-holding or gradual introduction. Lammens will need to be ready to contribute from day one, even if that contribution is initially limited to training performances. The coaching staff will be assessing whether he has the mentality and ability to handle big-game pressure. Even if he does not play in the derby, how he prepares for it will influence their thinking about his future role in the team. Comparing training environments. Belgium versus England. One of the biggest adjustments Lammens will need to make is adapting from the training environment at Royal Antwerp to the world-class facilities and methods used at Manchester United. While Royal Antwerp is a professional club with good facilities, the resources available at Carrington are on a different level entirely. The technology, the coaching expertise, and the overall support structure represent a significant step up. This upgrade in training environment should benefit Lammens' development. He will have access to better analysis tools, more specialized coaching, and training methods that are designed to optimize performance at the highest level. However, it also means higher expectations and more scrutiny. Every aspect of his performance will be monitored and analyzed in detail. Data will be collected on every save, every distribution, and every decision he makes during training. The pace of training will also be different. Premier League football is faster and more intense than Belgian football, and training sessions are designed to prepare players for this increased tempo. Lammens will need to adapt his preparation methods, his recovery routines, and his overall approach to match the standards expected at Manchester United. The learning curve will be steep, but the potential rewards are enormous. Media attention and external pressure. From the moment Senne Lammens walks onto the Carrington training ground, he will be under intense media scrutiny. His every move will be watched and analyzed by journalists, photographers, and video crews. This level of attention is something that most players from smaller leagues have never experienced before. The media interest in Manchester United is relentless, and new signings always attract particular attention. For a goalkeeper, this scrutiny can be especially challenging. Goalkeeping mistakes are highly visible and often decisive, which means that any errors are likely to be heavily criticized and analyzed. Lammens will need to learn how to handle media attention while maintaining focus on his football. This is a skill that takes time to develop, and many talented players have struggled with this aspect of playing for a big club. The club's media team will provide support and guidance, but ultimately Lammens will need to find his own way of dealing with the pressure and expectation that comes with playing for Manchester United. His first training sessions will be closely watched by reporters looking for any signs of how well he is adapting. Every drill, every save, and every interaction with teammates will be scrutinized for clues about his potential success. The role of goalkeeping coach and support staff. One crucial factor in Lammens' adaptation to Manchester United will be the quality of support he receives from the club's goalkeeping coaches and specialist staff. The relationship between a goalkeeper and his coaches can be make or break for his success. Manchester United have invested heavily in their coaching setup, with specialized goalkeeping coaches who understand the unique demands of playing in goal at the highest level. These coaches will play a vital role in helping Lammens adapt his game to suit the Premier League and United's playing style. The support goes beyond just technical coaching. Sports psychologists, fitness specialists, and video analysts all contribute to helping goalkeepers perform at their best. Lammens will have access to all these resources as he begins his United career. The first training sessions will be crucial for establishing these relationships. The coaching staff need to understand Lammens' strengths and weaknesses, while he needs to trust their methods and advice. Good communication between goalkeeper and coaches is essential. If Lammens feels comfortable asking questions and seeking guidance, his adaptation process will be much smoother than if he tries to figure everything out on his own. The experience of coaches who have worked with other goalkeepers making similar transitions will be invaluable. They understand the challenges and can provide practical advice about how to handle the step up to Premier League football. Fan expectations and early judgments. Manchester United fans are desperate for goalkeeping stability after years of uncertainty in the position. This desperation creates both opportunity and pressure for Senne Lammens as he begins his United career. On the positive side, fans are ready to embrace a new goalkeeper who can provide the reliability they have been missing. If Lammens shows early promise, he is likely to receive strong support from the Old Trafford faithful. However, the flip side is that expectations are extremely high. United fans have been let down by goalkeeping signings before, and they will be quick to judge whether Lammens represents genuine improvement or just another disappointment. Social media means that every training session photo or video clip will be analyzed by thousands of fans looking for signs of hope or concern. This constant scrutiny can be overwhelming for young players who are not used to such attention. The key for Lammens will be to focus on his own development and performance rather than getting caught up in external opinions and expectations. This is easier said than done, especially for a young player experiencing this level of attention for the first time. United fans are generally patient with players who show the right attitude and commitment, even if results do not come immediately. If Lammens demonstrates that he is working hard and trying his best, he is likely to receive support even if he makes some early mistakes. The long-term vision and development plan. While much focus will be on Lammens' immediate impact and early performances, Manchester United will also be thinking about his long-term development and potential. At 23 years old, he represents a significant investment in the future of the goalkeeping position. The club's coaching staff will have a detailed plan for how they want to develop Lammens' game over the coming months and years. This will include technical improvements, tactical understanding, and mental strength development. His first training sessions will provide baseline data that coaches can use to track his progress. They will identify areas where he is already strong and areas that need improvement, then design specific training programs to address these needs. The development process will not always be smooth or linear. There will be setbacks and difficult periods, but the club needs to maintain faith in their long-term vision for Lammens' career. This long-term thinking also influences how quickly they integrate him into the first team. While there may be pressure to use him immediately, the coaching staff need to balance short-term needs with long-term development goals. The success or failure of this approach will ultimately be judged over several seasons rather than just a few weeks or months. However, his first training sessions will provide important early indicators about whether the long-term plan is realistic. Tactical integration and system adaptation. One of the most important aspects of Lammens' first training sessions will be learning how he fits into Ruben Amorum's tactical system. Modern goalkeepers are expected to be much more than just shot stoppers. Amorum's style of play requires goalkeepers who are comfortable with the ball at their feet and can contribute to the team's build-up play. This means Lammens will need to demonstrate his passing ability and decision-making under pressure. The defensive system also requires good communication between the goalkeeper and the players in front of him. Lammens will need to learn the specific calls and instructions that United's defenders expect to hear. Set-piece preparation is another crucial area. Premier League teams face numerous corners and free kicks every match, and the goalkeeper's command of his penalty area can be decisive in these situations. Training sessions will include specific drills designed to test and improve all these aspects of goalkeeping. Lammens will need to show that he can adapt his game to suit United's tactical requirements. The coaching staff will be looking for signs that he understands the tactical concepts and can implement them under pressure. This intellectual aspect of goalkeeping is just as important as the physical skills. Conclusion: the beginning of a crucial journey. The news that Senne Lammens will begin training with Manchester United's first team next Wednesday represents the start of what could be a defining period for the club's goalkeeping future. This is not just another training session, but the beginning of a journey that could transform United's fortunes between the posts. At Unite United News, we are proud to bring you this exclusive information that shows our commitment to providing insider access and breaking news that you cannot find anywhere else. While other sources are still catching up with yesterday's news, we are already telling you what happens next. Lammens faces enormous challenges as he begins his Manchester United career. The step up from Belgian football to the Premier League is significant, and the pressure of playing for one of the world's biggest clubs can be overwhelming. However, his impressive statistics and the faith shown in him by United's coaching staff suggest that he has the potential to succeed. His first training sessions will provide crucial early indicators about whether this potential can be realized. The timing of his arrival, just before the Manchester Derby and during a crucial period for the club, adds extra significance to these early days. How he handles this pressure and adapts to his new environment will influence his entire United career. For United fans, Lammens represents hope for finally solving the goalkeeping problems that have plagued the club for several seasons. His first training session marks the beginning of what they hope will be a successful era of reliability and consistency in goal. We will continue to follow this story closely and bring you exclusive updates as Lammens begins his journey at Manchester United. Our sources inside Carrington ensure that you will always be first to know about important developments in this crucial story. Stay with Unite United News for all the latest exclusive coverage of Manchester United. We are the only source that combines insider access with honest analysis and comprehensive reporting. When you need to know what is really happening at your club, there is nowhere else you need to look.